I haven't a clue what I'm going to say, so give me a second. I will. So Dennis was talking about what is called a counter-protest. Now that's just I have a bit of a sore throat as well. That's a sanitized way of saying disruption. So these people, they don't come here to counter-protest. They come here to disrupt. And we come here to assemble lawfully and peacefully, as is our natural right from God, not from a state. The state was founded 100 years ago. God was founded a long time before that. And we have had an unbroken line of succession through our ancestors directly to God. And that's how our natural rights come to us unadulterated. They have not been corrupted. The state has no input whatsoever into your natural rights. And they basically admit that when they claim jurisdiction. I say claim because they have no claim on your natural rights, but they claim jurisdiction only to remove them. They never claim jurisdiction in order to bestow natural rights, because they can't. Only God can bestow natural rights. So the state isn't stupid enough to claim that they bestow natural rights. However, it is stupid enough to claim that they have the right to interfere with your natural rights. So that doesn't stand in court. They have no jurisdiction on your natural rights because your natural rights existed long before they did. So when we come here to assemble under our natural rights, there is no active law that applies to you. The law applies to you if you start breaking stuff, if you start hurting people, you're breaking the law. You're committing criminal acts under the law, not an active law. And then the police could interfere with you if you broke the law while engaged in your natural rights. But if you don't break the law, not an active law, the law, there's very few laws. You could write them all on one piece of paper. But the acts of law do not apply to you when you're exercising your natural rights. And it seems like the world has forgotten this. It seems like the Irish Gardaí have forgotten this. It seems like the Irish state has forgotten this. And it is our job, one of our most important jobs, to reassert that fact that our natural rights are superior to their acts of law. And we have to do this. And now we're at a special time, at a kind of a turning point in our culture, where the Gardaí have come back over to our side and are starting to police our events more fairly and more in accordance with natural rights and the law. And you can see that at our events, there's less pressure. So this is the perfect time for us in Ireland to win that ground back and to keep it. If they do turn again, we will be able to keep that ground where natural assembly and association enjoys the protection it should and cannot be disrupted by cretins who intend to destroy our state. So fortunately today we didn't have anybody counter-protesting our event, and fortunately there was no need to take any action. But certainly any event that I'm at in future, I will not be tolerating any zero tolerance for counter-protesting or disruption. It comes straight out of Saul Alinsky's Rule for Radicals, where they know that our protest there's going to be pictures placed online, and in the background there'll be loads of Gardaí, as though this is a dangerous event that needs to be policed by Gardaí. But really they're only here in order to protect a minority of counter-protesters. And they make our events look like they're unlawful and not peaceful. So people don't want to come, you know? So this has to stop. The government loves to see all these railings and barriers here because it creates that feeling about our event. So the government allows these people to come here and disrupt our event because it supports their narrative and it prevents us coalescing around the issues. And that transpires to online as well. And I saw it recently on Twitter where this row was raging for a couple of weeks. And then eventually the flying monkeys started to come out of the row and drag other people into the row. trying to tag people to get involved in a nonsensical gaslighting row, dragging everybody, as many people as they could, into it to create tension. So we have to be very careful when we're online that we're not putting our energy into attacking people who would ordinarily be on our side here today. And if you find yourself in that place, just swallow the pain. Whatever thing they said that annoyed you, just swallow it and move on. Move on and redirect your energy. Do not get sucked into that, I was right and it's my pride is hurt and my ego is hurt. Just turn your back, walk away, go somewhere else and do something else. Because the truth is, no one is going to remember that remark that guy made that annoyed you in 5 minutes or in an hour. No one is going to remember it. It's only annoying you. And people don't really remember that stuff. So please, do not spend your time online arguing with people who don't show up to events. Their whole resistance is based on manicuring their image online. And we're not here to manicure an image. We're here to develop opinion. We're here to develop positions. We're here to hold positions in the real world. And this is where our power is. All of the online stuff, all of it, all of our opposition, other than on the street, is in the commercial jurisdiction. Our most power is in the natural jurisdiction. Human beings, men and women, are most powerful when functioning naturally. And a good rule of thumb when you're wondering about whether you're functioning naturally or not is that you must function in the verbs. So when you're engaged in a verb, when you're talking, when you're walking, when you're sleeping, when you're running, these are all natural acts. You can do these, you can work with the verbs naturally quite safely. It's when you encounter nouns in the commercial jurisdiction, that's when things get complicated. The names of people, places, and things. Stay away from them. Stay away from them. That's the commercial jurisdiction. You're going to get caught up in an argument that you have no power. Bring it back out of that argument. Come back to the natural jurisdiction. Stay in your natural power where you have all the power. They have no power. A government cannot act naturally. A non-living entity cannot act naturally. Only living entities can act naturally. A corporation, a company, a Garda, a civil servant, a dentist are not acting naturally. They're acting under the terms of a contract that are defined in law. That's commercial. So do not go there. You have no expertise in that jurisdiction. You are completely unqualified. You do not speak the language. They speak multiple languages in that jurisdiction and they tell you it's all the one language. So what we have to be careful of is that we do not get trapped in arguments and putting our energy into the commercial jurisdiction. Anything associated with commerce or contracts, stay away from it. Stay in the natural jurisdiction, talking, walking, sleeping, dreaming, hoping, living, all of these things. These are safe for you. You have power there. You do not have power engaging with those people in those contracts. That's a trick that they play. That's civilization over there. They're anything but civilized. They're anything but civilized and claiming the higher moral ground while dissecting children and chemically experimenting on handicapped people in hospital. These are the people who claim to be our betters. These are the people who are claimed they are better, their contract is better than our natural existence. Well, it's not. And we as the Irish people have a unique opportunity in the world now to assert the dominance of natural rights above all contract law. And that's what we're doing here today without any counter-protest. We are functioning naturally and there is no threat to us. There is no tension. There is no fear. We have our imaginations. We can solve our problems in this state like this now. We can't solve our problems when we're at a high, really high tempo and forgive the I lost my safety pin today. But stay in your natural jurisdiction at a natural tempo and don't let them gaslight you. That's why they gaslight you. It's to get your emotions flowing, to get your energy up, and you start to lose your imagination. You start to lose the ability to solve your problems. And all that comes out is aggression and anger and fear. And if what we are manifesting comes from fear, it will shrink the imagination. So we have to get our people back to imagining that they can win this, to hoping they can win this. They can't have a plan without hope. You can't have hope without imagination. So these are the keys to our future. And it's a key to a bright future. I don't want some, unimaginative, colorless future. I want us back in our natural power, the way we have been for centuries, before we got deluded by money and comfort. And it's time that Ireland, and we have this opportunity now with the world's eyes focused on us, to assert our natural rights as dominant over all commercial law and contract. And that's our function. Okay, lads, thanks.